Marty, how the hell am I supposed to fillet this carrot if these fucking teeth keep stopping me? I give a blowjob to a carrot if I can't fucking have teeth.
Why would you be giving fellatio to a carrot in the first place?
Because I have a bad gag. Oh shit, we're live. Uh-oh.
That we are. That we are.
Hi, hippity hoppity ho! Wow, happy almost Easter. What's Good Friday? What's Saturday, Marty?
I'm just glad you didn't say what's up, cock. Anyway, hey Russell.
We gotta do the stream again. We gotta do the stream again, darling.
No. Hey.
Hey, Sadie.
So, Mike. What?
I'm an Easter bunny. I'm an Easter. I got a carrot and everything. And you know, carrot kind of looks like a cock.
So do your ears.
Christian said they don't. I asked Christian and he said you were projecting.
Fuck's sake. Right. She says quality. Quality cosplay. So guys, we decided to watch a Easter themed horror movie that is, most people might argue it's not a Trashfire, and it's not. Certainly not as good as the original, but fun. Some people have an issue with it. I don't. I think it's fun. Scott Grimes is fun.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who plays Charlie's good. I like the whole sci-fi element. We decided we were going to watch and talk about Critters 2.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. See, I didn't prepare. Like, you gave me all that time and I didn't prepare. I have a little critter. Wee! I have a little critter.
Hold him up there to the camera so people can see him.
Okay.
Where did you get him, actually?
I got him from Fright Crate. It was a horror subscription box, and you got little Staffordshires, and this was one of the ones, and he's one of my favorites. I want to get one of those ghetto ones that you see on some of the knockoff sites. I want to get one of those, but I love this little guy too. He's super cute. I think the critters are just the cutest little things.
They are. So do you prefer them to Gremlins?
Yes, I do, actually. I am one of those ones that I actually because I think they're like the Gremlins are funny, especially in part 2, but I think the critters have always been funny. I like their little language. The last movie they made, not the one for Shudder, but the last movie they made, that was the best part, where they actually had a commentary with one of the critters. That was the funniest part of that whole movie.
I gotta check it out. I know it's not the best, but if you say there's some good to be taken from it.
The movie itself isn't very good, but go to like the behind the scenes special features, and they actually, the director and has an interview with one of the critters, and that is way funnier than the actual movie is.
Well, they kind of had that in Gremlins too. Do you remember? They went behind the scenes, and it turned out Gizmo was the right diva.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, they did do that. It's funny, but I like the way I don't know. I just have a soft spot for critters. I always have. I think they don't get as much representation as Gremlins, and I think they're just as good. In fact, I think they're kind of better. Hot take. I think they're kind of better. I've always had more fun. I've always been more of a Critters girl than a Gremlins girl. But no hate to anybody who loves Gremlins.
The director Mick Garris. Well, I know he wrote Batteries Not Included. And he also wrote The Fly too. But you know him from, has he done other horror stuff? Because you're a bigger horror.
Sleepwalkers.
Oh my God, cat incest people. Okay, I forgot about that.
Vampire fuckers. Cat, werewolf, vampire. Thank you, Ben, if you're watching, by the way. Yeah, cat, werewolf, vampire fuckers. He did, which is one of his longtime viewers know that's one of my favorite movies. And I was going to tell you, we were watching it, and I didn't tell you, but I wanted to tell you that you can tell some of his hallmarks in this movie too. He has some directors you can really, after you familiarize yourself with their work, you can really notice their little hallmarks, and he is definitely one of those directors.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in this movie, you can really tell he's got his fingerprints all over it.
this movie is interesting. It was written by David Twohy. This is the flick that got David Twohy the gig to do try his hand at writing a script for Alien 3. And the script Fox said thanks, but we'll pass, and then he used that to make Pitch Black. So no Critters 2, no Pitch Black, essentially,
Yeah,
because you know,
and that's really cool that happened. And are you sorry though it didn't get turned into a proper Alien movie? Or are you happy that it turned into what it turned into?
I'm glad what it was. It would have been interesting to see Toohey's version. A few years back, Fox, or not Fox, Dark Horse, when they still had the rights to the Alien franchise doing the comics, they were releasing comics based off unpublished scripts, and they were going to do. They'd already done one Alien 3 story. They were going to do his one, and they were going to do the original idea Predator, but obviously. Oh, hey, Christian.
Sparky! Hey, Monty!
Hello. So, this movie picks up, maybe 10 years, 8 or 10 years after the first movie, because Scott Grimes is that bit older. What
Yeah,
age is he in the first movie? Like 10?
about 10, so maybe like, yeah, about 5-6 years, somewhere in that. The movie is very fast and loose with his rules, and I actually think that's a strength rather than a weakness, because this is a movie, if you nitpick too hard, it's not going to hold together very good. So I kind of like that we are a little ambiguous with some of the things, but he's a teenager. He's essentially a
Yeah,
teenager.
yeah. They're rabbit ears, Monty. I know what you probably think they are, but they're rabbit ears, honestly.
Auntie, Christian says they don't look phallic at all, and my son wouldn't lie to me. He says Marty's projecting.
Fucking hell. So anyway, the movie takes place a few years after the events of the first Critters, and Charlie, played by I was going to say Robert Oppenheimer, but no, that's the dude who invented who create the fucking nuclear bomb. Opperman, I forget the guy's name. Basically, the redneck drunk guy has joined forces with the bounty hunters Lee and Ugg, and essentially they're doing well, and they're informed by their alien overlord that some of the Krites survived, and we find out that in the barn of the family from the Brown family in the first movie, there's a number of eggs. So kind of a local sleazeball fucking antique bric-a-brac dealer and his punk kind of protege turn up, and they find the Krite eggs. Apparently the Krite survived an egg form.
Yes, they did. And this kid goes, I can go sell them to this antique place, or I'll haul them for you if you give me some beers. And it's very rednecky and very fun, and I like that. And I also like the design of the eggs. Like the eggs kind of look really cool. Like that was one thing we were talking about when we were watching the movie that you said you really appreciated. Like even though it's a fairly low budget movie, they do a lot of world building, and they add little extra touches that they probably didn't have to do, but makes the movie that much more fun.
Oh yeah, like it. The beginning, the opening definitely leans into sci-fi horror more than kind of comedy horror, and you could see the touches of Toohey's script. That opening sequence has Toohey written all over it. Yes, guys, what did you think? Sorry, deviating, but did you enjoy 65, or did you have the same issues I did? We'll get into that later, but anyway, so he ends up, what is it? Is it 2 cases of beer and a couple of Playboys?
And Playboys, and that's a very crucial detail for this movie. A very crucial plot point is those Playboys, because one of our bounty hunters will be changing form into a Playboy model, which was kind of cool. And God, does she have a beautiful rack and also a nice ass. Also, Christian has a hot take that Critters 1 still, a hot take. I prefer this to Critters 1. He likes.
I definitely think that this is a worthy successor, and we're the first Critters movie is essentially a siege movie. like the family trapped in the house, the bounty hunters getting up to fuckery in the towns. This one is more, I'd say, a bigger scope. I could certainly enjoy. I could certainly see why people might enjoy it more than the first one.
I
Um,
prefer the first one myself. I like both of them, but I prefer the first one myself. Although I do like the humor in this movie. I think that's one thing that this script is very strong at. There's a lot of one-liners. I love the line where it's just a dog and the kid goes, "Yeah, so was Cujo." Especially since the first since the first Critters had Dee Wallace. That's kind of cool.
yeah, it's obviously a nice nod. This movie does, as you said, the Garrus, he's kind of got his fingertips all over the making of this movie. He's got stuff
It
that
really
like you
does.
notice.
It does. Now the writing itself, while the writing is good with the comic and stuff, there are some lines that are a little bit. You either can take them and smile, or you're gonna groan, depending on what kind of person you are.
Yeah, the townsfolk definitely had some very fucking sus kind of lines. I listened to those small big city kid, some washed up drunk, and some guy with no spaceman with no face. It's like,
I love that line.
okay. But yeah. So okay, we're deviating. Bobby Brown, played by Scott Grimes, he arrives back in town, and like it seems that the whole fucking thing with the critters was covered up, or
Mm-hmm.
people just refuse to believe it.
Yeah.
So he's kind of a social pariah,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, his grandmother is she runs a daycare center or Sunday kind of school, or I don't know, but it's kind of both.
Yeah.
And she gets the Christ eggs off the fucking dickhead who owns the kind of antique store.
For $20. She goes down, and the dude wanted 25, and she goes down and manages to get the whole lot for $20, which, even in 80s money, that's pretty damn good. That was a bargain. They're pretty
Yeah.
eggs.
Well, they're prettier when the kids paid them.
But you said they'll change their soul.
So yeah, again, it's what there's the kind of opening of the movie really establishes the characters. You have Bobby's grandmother, who's this kind of health nut who's like runs the daycare center. You have Christ, I forget the name of the old sheriff that was in it.
He's a character actor. We figured out he was from Evening Shade, correct? Or Northern Northern Exposure.
Northern Exposure.
Yeah,
Northern Exposure. He's kind of the washed up kind of sheriff, and there's a younger sheriff after taking over. There is Molly Ridwell's friend from 16 Candles.
Yes, and she's really good in this. And it was nice to see her pop up into something. The whole cast is good, and a lot of the cast is people, what's his face, that, like you were saying when we were watching it, what's his face kind of characters where you might not know their names, but you've seen them in
you recognize them.
Yeah, you recognize
Lynn Shay turns up in this. It's like fucking Lynn Shay. Like I every time I watch a horror movie, it's like, there's fucking Lynn Shay. I just never knew that she had been in stuff back in the day. Much stuff.
She's the female equivalent of Kevin Bacon, basically. You could probably play 65 Degrees with Lynn Shay if you wanted to.
I'm wondering, did she kind of get some kind of contract with New Line? Because she turned up. She was the teacher in the first Nightmare movie, right? Mm-hmm. She was Nancy's teacher.
Yeah. She's been doing it. People forget she's been doing this a long time, and she's still going at it. So that's kind of cool too, because you got a little bit of horror legacy there, and that's actually kind of cool. This movie is a lot of fun. It definitely leans. It is a horror movie. I would say it's a horror movie, but I think it definitely leans more with especially particularly this one, really leans more into the comedic aspect, which Mick Garris has always been really good at anyway. So it was a perfect fit on that end.
Well, yeah, the thing is this kind of time, like the early, I say pre-85 was more kind of shock and gore and video nasties and exploitation kind of horror, whereas 85 to 89 was more comedy horror. You had the likes of Evil Dead 2, you had the likes of Reanimator, you
Mm-hmm.
had you had a whole bunch of movies that realized, you know what, let's, instead of doing the same old thing of like slashers and gore and stuff, let's put a bit of comedy in it. This is definitely a funny movie. It's
It is.
I particularly like the Sunday sermon, um that they decide to hide the eggs, the fried eggs. They've been painted, they don't realize that they're fried eggs. And they get the sheriff to fucking dress up as the Easter bunny. What does he say? Hey Eric.
Hey, Eric.
And
He gets his penis stuck in the zipper, and he's like, "I'll give the kids a real education." And you know me, the pervert in me loves it when a guy is in a bunny suit and he's got his pecker caught and he's fooling with his pecker where there's little children not 5 feet away. I mean, that's comedy gold right there.
the what was comedy gold was like the Christ shooting into the suit, and it just literally looked like the Easter bunny was getting big balls of spikes up his ass. And I think, what was the line? What was the line the Reverend said? Perfectly timed. Um, he's like, and the man in white shall come, and he shall usher in death. And next thing, there's the fucking sheriff dressed as the fucking Easter bunny comes crashing through the window and dies horribly.
In front of kids, because this is a kids movie. Also, another nice touch, this was a little bit further back, and I'm going all over the places I tend to do, but one thing I really enjoyed, you like that scene, the scene I liked is when the critters are attacking the car and one of them takes a big bite out of the tire and then it inflates. I thought that was a really cute little touch. Again, this is a movie where you go, nice touch.
It was a cute show. I thought that attack came after the sheriff died.
It might have. You know me, Marty. My brain don't work too good.
No, no, I'm not trying to criticize. I was like, shit, did that happen before or after? But no, no, but whatever. You're dead right though. It's a fantastic scene. The critter bites the tire and ends up like fucking inflating like a
Inflated.
balloon. That was cute. Again, that's the Chiodo brothers. Like, those guys were fantastic, like making those kind of puppets and animatronics and stuff.
Mhm.
And again, that was the gold standard, because again, like horror comedies after 85, you had so many movies that had so many cool kind of creature effects and monster effects. They were going away from the slashers. They were going away from that. You had kind of Gremlins was obviously the big kind of instigator for
Mhm.
this. Although some people, I heard somewhere that the original fucking Critters was written before Gremlins. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, there is a bit of a debate about that and stuff, or they were written around the same time, or they were written before. I've heard different things on that. I think the narrative that keeps going around the most is that Critters was actually before Gremlins, but I cannot prove it. But that is what I hear. That is generally the big consensus among horror fans, is that actually no. Which is cool, because I kind of get tired of people who are a little bit snob. I've known a few snobby people in my time saying, oh, like I'll give a lot of praise for Gremlins, and rightly so, but I'll kind of look their nose down and say, oh, it's just a poor man's ripoff of Gremlins. And it's like, no, it's not. I mean, they're
It,
they have some similarities, but I think they're very different.
yeah, yeah, I know they are very different. I keep in mind as well, if it is, what's the old adage? Fucking, the imitation is the biggest form of flattery. There
Yes.
were so many other movies aping Gremlins.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely something that stands out, and I think a lot of movies ended up aping this as well. They were like, "Hey, we gotta get this small monster action." But
And it's kind of,
anywho,
I think Critters also, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think Critters also kind of brought it again to the surface of the creature feature, kind of it has
yeah,
that real fun kind of creature feature from the olden days. And I think that this is a great example of a really great creature feature and a fun creature feature.
Yeah, like I'm glad New Line released this because I could have seen this being fucking and I still loved them, but I could see this being some kind of Roger Corman fucking Full Moon project. And Corman hated mixing comedy with horror, so
Hmm.
if this had fallen into the wrong hands, it could have been absolutely shit. But the original Critters, I mean, but
Do you think?
yeah, just
Do you think that it wouldn't have worked at all if we had taken out the comedy?
I think the comedy was for this. I
Hmm.
think the comedy was quintessential
Yeah, I do.
because um like could you really take could you really take like super serious the threat of these small little porcupine ball monsters that roll around and eat things like Tasmanian devil?
Probably not. Maybe younger kids could, but probably not after you got to a certain age. Probably not. The way it works more universally is, and that's the thing that I think that is why I think they're so and they're so fucking adorable. I don't care what anyone says. They're not fucking menacing at all. I just want to give them a hug, and I wanted to give them a hug. I wanted them as pets when I was a kid. I just thought they were the cutest little things ever. And so the comedy really is universal and speaks to a lot more people. I think little kids must, if you're a little kid, you might could be scared of these, but not anybody else. And so I think that was a smarter way to go and add humor, because that's what we all remember. I think everybody laughs, and my favorite parts, when no matter what movie we're watching with the critters, are when they're talking back and forth in their own language, because they're funny little fuckers. They're just funny little fuckers.
I do like that. It's like, what do we do? They might have weapons. They have no weapons that can kill us, and then the shotgun comes out the door and blows one of them away, and he's like, "Fuck!" and they just roll off. I do like that. And in this one, that kind of happens too. There's a bit where Og blows the top of the spines and the hair off the top of one's head, and looks in the mirror and it's like, "Bitchin'." It's just
Yeah, they're like little teenagers almost. They're real cute. They're like little vicious teenagers on crack with porcupine quills. It's a really cool thing.
I I don't know if I think the guys behind that worked on the Teenage Ninja Turtles were fun friends with the Chioda brothers because the sidetrack, they're the bit in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Um, I think it's either the original or this. Raphael goes to see and he comes out of the cinema and he's like, "Who makes this trash?" It's
Oh
just
yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, so it's just it's cute that like yeah that they are kind of cut from the same cloth as the turtles. These kind of loudmouth mutant kind of monsters. But anyway, back to it. The bounty hunters arrive just as the first critter attack happens, and Lee. What was it? Ugg said to Charlie about Lee not having a face yet.
Yeah,
Uh,
I liked it because it was actually, I joked with you, but I was actually being kind of serious. It was actually kind of a weirdly deep line, because they go, you gotta find what suits you, what your soul, it suits you. You can't,
hmm,
you can't. And it was actually, I'm not saying it very good, but basically, it was basically you gotta find what matches you in in the body that
hmm.
matches you and your soul and stuff. And I liked what they said. It was actually weirdly deep for a Critters 2 movie.
Oh, Monty just dropped some stuff for us. Stephen Herrick claims the script for Critters was written by Dominic Muir long before Gremlins went into production.
That's
Thank you,
what I've
Monty.
heard. That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard, and I kind of believe it. Well, but I'm on team. I'm probably biased because I'm definitely on Team Critters side. But I buy it. It kind of checks out to me. But I've heard a lot of snobby people go, "Oh no, that that Critters is just a poor man's knockoff of Gremlins," and I would respectfully disagree. I'd be like, "Nah, I don't think so, dude."
Um, but where are we? So the bounty hunters land, Jen, and as you said, Og has to pick a face, and Charlie finds the one of the
Playboy.
discarded playboys, and it's like, what the hell? So he's like, yo, this is real Earth culture here, and he's about to copy Charlie's face, and then Lee's about to copy Charlie's face, and Charlie holds the magazine up, and he ends up becoming the centerfold with the fucking staple in the middle of her chest and all. I thought that was brilliant. So
That's
you
another thing.
have this like sexy, buxom-looking woman going, "Kill Kreitz," and like her tits and her ass are hanging out, and you were in your element. You thought this was brilliant.
I did. Well, see, I mean, it's always nice to see, like, because those are tits that I would go to a fucking plastic surgeon and go, can you give me these ones? And while you're at it, look at the ass. And Russell put a fun fact: porcupines can't shoot their own quills. I did not know that.
Is there any animals that can shoot their quills? I don't know.
Well, I mean, most guys can, and you know, they say they're going to aim for your tits, but a lot of times they don't hit the target.
Anywho, moving on. So,
no, seriously, you gotta line yourself up. It's not as easy as the pornos make it looks.
So the town is attacked by rampaging Kreitz, and they end up in the Hungry Heifer.
It's not as good of a catchy. That's the one thing that Christian was talking about when I was talking to him about this, is that the soundtrack is the one thing about this movie that really leaves a lot to be desired, where you have that first really killer, everyone knows from the Critters soundtrack, Power of the
Night.
Yeah.
Streets are calling. Oh, that was fucking wicked.
Yeah, that's a banger.
That's, as the kids say, that is a banger.
Anyway, but you don't. That is the one thing, you don't have anything that iconic. Like, I think they tried to make that theme, and it's cute, it's smirk worthy, but it's not something when most horror people, hell, most even just everybody, when you hear that song, you turn it up, and most people know the words if they're a horror fan or not. And I mean, it's a jam. This one, not so much. It's cute, it's smirk worthy, but it doesn't hold a candle to that. And I wish they would have had something a little, maybe not as iconic, but they would have tried to.
Yeah, it's something that you'll remember, but it's nowhere near as good as the soundtrack for the prior movie.
No.
So the bounty hunters turn up in town, and Charlie kind of meets up with Bobby Brown, the Scott Grimes' character, and they reconcile and stuff. And the guys decide to go into the Hungry Heifer and kill as many Kreitz as they can, and they go in and they start blasting the shit out of the Kreitz. And as I said, they give one Kreit a reverse mohawk, and one of the little fuckers ends up in the deep fat fryer. The poor little bastard.
They do, and one of them slipped in burgers.
Yeah, I did think that before they start shooting, there was some adorable bits where the guys. Like, one of them shoots hot sauce into one of the lads' faces, and he gets stuck on the grill, and the other guys just are flipping the burgers and stuff, and they're pure happy out about it.
They're such cute little. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. They are such cute little fuckers. I want one. I want one.
They're adorable.
They are
to an extent.
Well, I mean, they might kill you and your pets, and that's what. And then if you're a dog lover, that because the dog is real cute. It's a cute little pit bull and stuff, and then they eat him, and I'm like, oh, bad critters, but they're so cute. You can't stay mad at them. But that was a cute little pit bull. But then, especially in most horror movies, yeah, if there's a dog, 95% of the time, it's not going to end in a good outcome for the dog. And I'm a typical standard horror fan because it's like I'm fine with people getting mutilated 7 ways to Sunday, but do something to a dog and I'm like a little 3-year-old going, eh.
Don't hurt that doggy.
No doggy.
So anyway, Ugg and Lee kill a good proportion of the Kreitz, but some of them escape, and as a result, they kind of lay siege to the town, and the bounty hunters go hunting them. Not Ugg, Lee turns into a nerdy guy who worked at the fucking burger joint, and the dude looks like a pedo.
He
No offense to
does.
the actor, but
And
just
he usually plays that actor kind of plays the same. He kind of got typecast and stereotyped a little bit.
as sleazy kind of nerd. And
What was his
Charlie,
role in the
what?
movie, really? What was his role in the movie except to be kind of a nerdy, sleazy dude?
That was just it. I think we're just like, I think it was a case of you've got a face I want in my movie. I don't know what part I'm going to give you, but you're going to be in my movie. So, I don't even know why they do it, but Lee, the bounty hunter Lee, turns into him, changes from like the centerfold into him, and is kind of going around the town. And Charlie finds him in front of a video store, and he's just about to transform into Freddy Krueger. And Charlie holds up the Playboy again, and he turns back into the Playmate. And they try tracking down the critters, and poor old Lee in his sexy body. Hello, Dito.
Hello.
Lee in his sexy centerfold body gets munched to bits by the critters,
I
and
know
this
that's
causes.
some good munching, Marty.
It is. It is. Do you think?
I've seen pornos that don't have that good of munching in it.
Do you think there was some rug consumed?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely think there was some rug consumed. I mean, but if you're that passionate about your art, I mean that just goes with the territory. Sometimes you have to swallow a little bit of carpet if you're really committed to something.
But as a result of that, Ugg kind of gets depressed and kind of unselects or unchooses his face and becomes like Lee, this faceless kind of bounty hunter. Mm-hmm. And everyone takes refuge in the church after I think Scott Grimes saves a bunch of kids because some dumbass goes out. But anyway, the townsfolk are like, this is all your fault. What's the line again, Jen? What's the fucking line again? It's like, I'm not taking any. What was it again? I'm not taking any. I'm not going to listen.
I'm not going to take any advice from a teenager, a drunk, and a faceless spaceman. A faceless spaceman?
Yeah, it's like, was this some of these? Like, again, it was a fun movie, but by Christ, if the script was just seriously, it wasn't the best.
No,
some of the lines.
But then you could just say that they're taking a nod. You know, if you go back to the old creature features, there's a lot of bad. Now, granted, that was a long time ago, but they do. So you could say they're maybe taking a nod to some of the old creature features. I don't know. It probably was just bad writing. But if I was them, I'd go, oh no, this was just an homage to all the old creature features that have come before us.
Yes, that's what we meant to do.
That's what we meant. Sure. It was all planned. See, it's psychological and smart. See, we're smart. Everyone loves in this movie the big critter. Well, I mean, we all love balls. I mean, you know how you love a good pair of big balls that are just pulsating all the time. And this movie
Jen, you're grabbing the ball too quickly.
Just saying people.
We got to establish how the ball is created. How that big rolling hairy ball is created. So Scott Grimes, right? He says, look, I have an idea. We have the burger factory down the street. If we can lure them in there with raw meat, we can blow them up using dynamite. And that's what they do. The plan kind of works. Then it doesn't work. Then Ugg pretends to be a large critter or a prime critter and lures them into the factory, and they blow them the fuck up.
Yeah, poor little
But
thing.
for some reason, it doesn't kill him though. What? Does it explain why it doesn't kill him?
No, but it's just fun, and we don't want them dead. And I also like the line when the critters are talking amongst themselves, and they're like, they've got live meat, and then they've got cows, and then no bones, or the things that have no bones, and it was better. I thought that was a cute line as well.
Yeah.
I
So they follow Og into the kind of the burger factory, and they're trapped inside, and the townsfolk blow them up, and they're like, yes, we defeated them. And next thing, fucking Indiana Jones boulder of Christ comes out, and you really enjoyed the scene. You really like that big hairy ball.
I love big hairy balls, Marty. I love them. Like my mouth kept falling open. I loved it rolling. I all kidding aside, like I've loved that since I was a little kid. There's something about that's magical, and it's always enchanted me of a big giant ball just rolling down, and it's just the way it's done. It's so cute and so fun, and I like how they all kind of come together and make this big old pulsating ball.
Yeah,
kill you.
There is a very Tex Avery kind of thing.
Yes.
One guy gets rolled over, and when the ball rolls off him again, he's just this big red covered skeleton. And
I love that too.
This is very very Tex Avery kind of fucking cartoon.
Yeah,
and
you have to think they might have taken a page.
Yeah, the townsfolk freak out, and they're like, everyone's, oh shit, what do we do? What do we do? So Scott Grimes and his kind of love interest, they try and ram the fucking ball with a truck, but somehow their truck gets turned over by a bale of fucking hay.
That really
how's that work, Jen? Yes.
Well, you're a farm boy. I mean, those bales of hay are like when they're compact like that. I mean, it's yeah.
No. No.
Like,
no.
Surely, I mean, they're like strong. I mean, I don't fucking know. Like what? It's the same thing that bothered you with fucking Leprechaun when the little whatchamadu car turns over the truck. Maybe it's made from the same stuff. Maybe this hay and that little fucking go-kart were made from the same stuff.
What?
Yeah, you know the little go-kart in Leprechaun that made.
I know, but how? So okay. So theoretically, Leprechaun and Critters are set in the same universe, where they've made biomechanical alloy from super strong hay from the town where the critters are.
I don't know what that biochemical boy thing is, but yeah, like they got the same stuff made from it. That's what I said. They got the same stuff made from it. And I would also fucking love a crossover with the Leprechaun and Critters team up. I think that, little critters with little hats and stuff, and them trying to clean with their porcupine shoes or something. That'd be fucking rad. I'd watch that shit.
I could see you watching it very easily. Anywho, so earlier on,
it would show your culture. Like they could have maybe there'd be some like Irish little critters that have cute little accents. They still talk the same way, but with a slight Irish thing to it.
Jesus Christ. Anywho, it looks like everyone in the church is going to be killed. The kids, the elderly women, everyone is like, oh no, what do we do?
Dead.
And then Charlie fucking commandeers the spaceship and kamikazes it into the critter ball.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. You think he's dead. Did you think he was dead when he crashed the ship into the ball?
No, even when I was little, I figured no, because that's not the tone this movie's setting for. And weirdly, this movie, like, it's silly and over the top, and it has, I guess some people would say, has a little bit of crude humor, but it also weirdly has a little bit of heart to it. I think these movies are extremely sweet, and so that's kind of the vibe. So of course the guy's gonna live, or at least that's how I took it, even as a kid, that they're kind of sweet.
yeah, like again, there are moments of heart and stuff like where Charlie's talking to Ugg about Lee's death, and like Charlie saying that like saying to is it Brad Brown or Bobby Brown that Scott Grimes' character is again?
Bobby Brown. But
Yeah,
it's
Bobby Brown.
but he's not with New Edition, sadly.
Okay. The bit where he's like, "Oh, up there, I'm somebody now." He felt
Yeah,
like he didn't fit in, but you can see that he wants to be part of Earth and stuff as well. So it's just
he's
it's
torn.
got it. Yeah. So Ugg changes his face to Charlie, but then it turns out Charlie's alive the whole time, and he decides to stay on Earth, and the sheriff is like, "You're a goddamn hero, Charlie." Here, and he gives him his badge, and everyone just fucks off on a bus. Hey,
Hey,
Trenchy, we're talking about
Tracy!
Critters too. Um, I did feel the ending was a bit rushed. If I had to criticize, like, what do you think? Do you think it kind of just
It was a bit
ends?
it was a bit rushed, but I don't think they had enough story to really stretch it out. Like I think if I was in their shoes, I probably would have done the same thing just because it was rushed. I do agree with you on that, but I think they kind of were smart enough to know they didn't have a lot more to. They've already stretched it as far as they could, and so I guess rather just kind of rapidly fire it up and get it over with, and have people kind of start to look at their watches. And I think that's a better way to go if you have the two, because like we don't have this isn't exactly the strongest writing. I love this movie, but it's not the strongest of writing.
Um, Again, it is. It's weird. Like David Toohey wrote the script for this. This is what got Fox interested in him doing an Alien 3 script. He done a script. They were like, no thanks, but no thanks. And he turned his Alien 3 script into Pitch Black. So no Critters 2, no Pitch Black. Fun fact. Trigi says this one does everything the first one does, but better.
Better.
It's my favorite one I've seen. So yeah, the like Christian Trenchy is like this is his favorite as well.
I get that, and I totally understand why. And like I said, the humor is really fun. Now, maybe it's nostalgia playing. I like the first one the best. For me, the best is the best one of them. But I totally understand where Trenchy and Christian are coming from, and it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie at all. It's fun. It has a few issues, but I can see where some people, and I've heard a lot of people say that this movie does it better than the first one. So I can understand why you think that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's one of those movies I think like Predator 2. It's like, it maybe it needs to be rewatched if people like kind of
If
fucking shove
nothing
it off
else, for the big ball going down the road, or seeing a really hot chick with a great ass and a rocking pair of tits. I mean, that's already three reasons right there that you can see a movie. Like that ass just doesn't quit, and those tits, my God, and a big ball rolling down. Yay. So
Jesus.
basically, you have all your naughty pits accounted for: boobs, balls, and ass. So you're pretty good. No cock though.
You, you heard it here, folks. Fucking, you got aliens, you got bounty hunters, you got the
Tits.
Easter Bunny, you got tits,
Fantastic
you
tits.
big balls. It's this movie. As Trenchy says, it does everything but better.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I enjoy this one. I still think the first one is better.
Yeah, I do
I'm
too.
with you, but I can understand why people like this. That said, I can also understand why people are like, it 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 makes the landing, but it bounces on the runway a couple of times before it actually lands safely.
Much like, balls in a vagina.
Anywho,
No, see, you're gonna try to hit the target, right? But you just can't, especially if it's like big balls with porcupines and sticks and stuff that's gonna get caught in your cooch. A critter cooch caught.
what kind of fucking corn-fed fucking redneck fucking kinkage you fucking spouting?
I'll show you one of these days, darling. I'll show you one of these days.
You are not putting a porcupine anywhere near my genitalia.
But it'll be cool. Like, you might be painful at first, but then you'll be like a pincushion.
Mitchell? Mitchell? Do you know what a restraining order is?
Yeah, I do. You
Don't
can't
make me take
restrain
that one.
a body.
Actually, why? Wait. Why am I surprised that why would I be surprised that you're? No, you know right well.
That
that
judge said
restraining
he
order.
didn't want to see me again for 10 years.
God damn it!
I got
God damn it, Jen!
I got a phallic carrot, guys, and a phallic ears. So I guess
So,
it's
Jen,
when you get caught.
is this movie a trash fire?
No, not for me personally. No. Like I said, I still prefer the original. That's my favorite one out of the trilogy, but it's fun. And I've heard a lot of people say this is the best Easter horror movie we have. Now, there's not a lot of Easter horror movies. There's more than people are aware of, but there's not a lot. But a lot of people have said that this is definitely the best one of the bunch. And it's a good one for kids, like not little kids, but after they get to a certain age, if you want to start, getting them a dipping their toes into horror as a gateway drug, this would be a good gateway drug.
I would say maybe I would say kids. I'd say I would say
when I was a
possibly
kid.
yes, and here we are. But I would maybe wait till maybe 13, 14, because the whole I'm not trying to be prudish, but it's my dad's whole thing. Like when I was growing up, it's like, is it 18? So is there tits and sex in it? If if it's 18s, let them watch it so long as there's no sexual content. I don't know. Maybe I am being a prude. I don't know.
No, you're not being a prude. You're just talking to a pervert who was over-sexualized. I was over-sexualized it too.
You don't say. You don't say.
Russell and Christian goes, I passed out for a minute. What the hell is she on about? And Russell goes, I've got no idea.
I don't think anyone. Christian, she's your mother. If you can't decide first, like the woman has two penises attached to the side of her head.
His brother made them. Thank you very much, and he did a brilliant job. You want to rub my ears, Marty?
They were not. They are bunny ears. I shall not be stroking. But yeah, I don't think this is a trash fire. I think. Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, what the fuck? Anywho, yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a good movie.
My teeth are coming off. I gotta get off the meth carrots.
You're losing your teeth.
I'll just
it's definitely not a trash fire. There's fun to be had. But
sorry.
God damn it, Jen. God damn it.
And with that, Merry Easter to us all.
Yeah, check this one out. It's fun. It's fun. It's not definitely not a trash fire. That's probably why myself and Jen don't have like a longer review, because there's nothing really bad per se about it. It's just a fun watch and stuff.
No, No, there's
Yeah.
things you can seriously critique. There's some things you can kind of nitpick at, but overall, it's a pretty fun movie. It's like a Christian and Russell said there, or Trenchy said it wasn't Russell, it was Trenchy. Christian and Trenchy said that that's their favorite, and I totally can understand that. It's a fun one. It's a good Easter one, and Night of the Lepus is good, and so is Vampire Hunter for the best Easter. Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter. What are you gonna make a gif? What the hell is he gonna make a gif, Marty?
Of you stroking your ears.
Is that gonna go in the third thing of God damn it, Jen?
You bet your arse it is.
Oh, I wish I had a cottontail. I would like shake my butt. I should have put some fucking cotton on my butt.
Before I roll out, have you and Christian got anything in the pipeline? Are you or anyone else? You collaborating with anyone else with anything soon?
We're trying to, like Christian and I, the reason why there hasn't been any videos, guys, is we've just been having some technical difficulties, and it's been very hard to align our schedules. We're going to try to get something out this week, but no promises. But hopefully Christian will be coming home soon. So it's just kind of the catch can. We have plans, but we have to be able to film them, and we have to have the time to film them. And it's just, the window's gotten even smaller than what we had previously, if you guys can believe that. And then on top of that, on Christian's end, there's been a lot of technical difficulties. So yeah, and then me doing crack all the time doesn't help either, and meth.
I do a commercial. Jen is what your brain is like when it's on drugs.
You can't crack the carrot. You can't. Well, I guess you can. Can't crack the carrots.
Jesus Christ. Also coming this Tuesday is the Horror Hangouts. Sean is hosting us.
Yes, Sean is hosting it with the Horror Miser, Monty G, myself. We're going to have a special guest, Trivial Theater, and I'm not going to say the other person because we're not for sure yet, but there might be another very special guest where there's someone else we're trying to get on, but Triv is always, you guys know, Triv is my favorite non-sexual playmate that I have. Like, if I love her, I just love playing with her in a non-sexual way.
I'm actually, my hours were shifted, so I won't be able to attend that, but I implore people to check it out. Also, I think Ethel, our friend Ethel Cross from 13 Originals, is going to be hosting something tomorrow. I don't quote me on that, but do keep an eye out on her channel in case she does. But I'm 80% sure she is doing something tomorrow night.
Marty, do you think she'll mind if I dress for the occasion?
Yeah. I'm not going to speak for Ethel. Stop rubbing those ears. Stop stroking those ears. Anyway, with that...
something else to stroke on, darling. My hands have a fixation. Just give me something to stroke on. Penis.
And with that, to all a good night.
Have a hippity hoppity one, y'all.
Have a good one. Bye, guys. Night.
Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.